Nigeria. Tinubu is warning, well, if there wasn't anarchy when you force yourself in there, there won't be when court removes you. Labour Party replies Tinubu. It's going to be an interesting one. The election, what do you call it? Tribunal's verdicts, the day that it will come, but he's thinking that, well, as the constitution says, you have to have up to what? Up to what percentage? 25% of the votes in the federal capital. And Tinubu didn't get that. So they're saying that, well, that could be something that could be used against you. But Tinubu say, you know what? If you dare take me out, I bet you there's going to be anarchy. Who is going to cause anarchy? Is it his supporters or the one in Lagos State, the one who said that, well, if they don't vote for, if you know you're not coming out to come and vote for the APC, stay in your houses? Is that what is going to happen there? You want to know more? Stay tuned. Lots more going to be coming your way from there. Apologize. I think there was another flicker on the YouTube broadcast or the channel, but just bear with us. I think it's been sorted, and let me quickly just line it up nicely for you, so those of you who want to interact there can interact. My sincere apologies about that, but it's all coming your way from Starr Radio. Okay, we're going to go straight to look at some of the other stories making the rounds now. Bishop Adesina say tribunal ruled giving presidential election issue 10 days from the 15th of July for president to comply to resolution. Oh my goodness, would that happen? Well. Those of you on the YouTube channel, move on to the other channel link now. All right, then move on to the other link now. That will give you the stability that you want there. Now, moving on to other stories making the rounds as well. On the African continent, Egypt building collapse in Cairo and kills 8, including 7 members of one family. A very, very sad story there. A lawyer representing family of murdered MP lodges complaint in court, and authorities in Kenya announced the discovery of 12 new bodies of that sect. I call them a sect, you know. Okay, so lots more going to be coming your way from there. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds there as well. In Ghana, well, okay, that is eluded me. Let me get it. It's quite an interesting statement that was coming from the national chairman of the Nigeria. Okay. No. Let me try to get that one for you. Government does not engage land guards to reclaim lands. That's what the Ministry of Lands is saying. And we don't rely on services of land guards. That's what the Ghana Armed Forces are also saying. Who are these land guards? What have they been up to? And are they not people that these ones are using as well? Well. Minority demands answers over why land guards are protecting government lands. If the lands belong to the government, why is it that government-owned security agencies are not protecting it, but we have rather land guards doing so? You want to know more? Stay tuned and don't go away. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well, temperatures expected to peak at 46 degrees centigrade as Europe heat wave continues. There are warnings the extreme heat could continue for a further 10 days in parts of Italy as well. If you are going on holidays, especially those of us here, what are you looking at? Are you still going back on it? The Commonwealth Games in doubt after Australian state cancels. Victoria says the cost of the tournament had ballooned to 3 times original estimate. Anything that is not value for money, and therefore they don't want to go on with that. So maybe some other states will take it. Now, burnt out or jobless meet China's full-time children, grueling work hours, and this dismal job market are forcing young Chinese to make unusual choices. And a U.S. military email sent to Russia ally by mistake. Hey, okay. Now, some of the emails reportedly contain sensitive information such as passwords and medical records there. Now, JFK nephew rebuked over COVID conspiracy theory. Robert F. Kennedy is under fire over comments suggesting COVID-19 was ethnically targeted. Well. Is it because the black people were dying more? That's why he's trying to say that. You know, when it comes to politics, people want to say all sorts just to make some impact. But hey, at times, they hit it, and they hit the wrong note. Okay, in the UK as well, Ryan Giggs cleared over ex-girlfriend charges, so that it's not going to be continuing because the prosecution has decided to withdraw charges against an asylum seeker barge arrives at Dorset Port. Missed lots of demonstration there. A McDonald's worker speaks out over sexual abuse claims. These are some of the stories making the rounds here this morning. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's enjoy some music. I come back and I bring you Mr. Olayomi Koiki with updates from Nigeria. Don't you go away. Stay tuned. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Online 24/7.
Oh, great I am, omnipotent, King of kings, Lord of lords. We worship you and lift you high. Your kingdom stands from age to age.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. 24/7.
Starr Radio
Everlasting. There is no one like you. We worship you. Lord, we worship you high. To reign, Lord, kingdom spread from age to age. Everlasting, to everlasting. There is no one like you. We worship you. Lord, we worship you high.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
King who has no successor, flower that never fades. Abba Father, we worship you. Thy kingdom come. Thy kingdom come. Oh Lord. We call you Emmanuel. Emmanuel. You are the first. You are the first.
This is my testimony. I was lost, messed up, bitter, hurt, and had no peace. Nothing was working for me. But then I attended the Lady to Lady Global Conference. My whole life just turned around. God changed my story, and yours can change too. I invite you to this year's conference, holding on Saturday the 22nd of July 2023 at Fairfield Halls, Croydon, United Kingdom. Doors open at 11 a.m. Register now for free at www.ladytoladyglobal.org. The theme for this year is peace. You heard me, peace. For more info, call 0203 983 9394. God bless you and see you there.
Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London on this Tuesday edition of the morning show, the 18th day of July 2023, 7 minutes past the top of the hour. That means that my brother and co-presenter Mr. Olayomi Koiki is in the house, and we're going to be taking you straight to Nigeria, but from our North London studios. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our viewers and listeners from around the world. And welcome once again to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, where we take you through, some of the headlines. And it's good to be back again after, the short little bit of interruption yesterday, but it's great to be back again. And I say good morning to everyone that have joined us once again.
Yes, how are you doing? How is the family?
Well, the family are doing very well. As we always say, the most important thing is that, when the family are doing very well, it also gives us joy, to be able to join, the transmission which we are doing today. So the family are doing very well, and I'm grateful.
Okay. And once again, listeners, we sincerely apologize for not being able to be live on the program yesterday. It was due to some technical issues. It wasn't from our side. It was from the internet providers. They caused that. But well, we are here because the team worked assiduously, as we did say. Okay, now let's go. We have behind your background the picture of the president. As whether it's going to be the president after the tribunal ruling or something, we're not very, very sure. But I saw Bishop Adeshina putting a post that I think by the 25th, that is 10 days from the 15th, that means the 25th.
Just get about 10 seconds off the screen, and that will be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Listen, just bear with us, Yomi. Let's excuse Yomi. Now, Mr. Adeshina was of the view that, the tribunal, the election tribunal, is going to come out with its verdict in another 10 days' time. So that was from the 15th. So that will be looking at the 25th. Is that what is going to happen? But interestingly, comments coming through from, I don't know whether it's coming from the tribunal or from the Labour Party, because we did talk about the fact that the Labour Party was saying that they should, its supporters should lace up their boots because there could be an election, so that they will not be found wanting, because they think that the ruling government is doing so, lacing themselves, preparing themselves for that. And we know that in the Constitution, if you don't get 25% of the vote in the federal capital, then it means that you've not won. So is that the clause that they try to use? And now the president is saying, if they dare say that because I didn't win that, so they are annulling the results, there's going to be anarchy. Yomi, is there going to be anarchy in Nigeria?
is there going to be anarchy, or is there going to be a rerun? That's the question on the lips of so many Nigerians. We couldn't be on air yesterday, and when the news floated over the weekend, as the final the court presentation from those representing both the APC and the PDP. We can now say categorically that it seems that if all goes according to what the election tribunal is saying, there might, I don't know, I mean, this is just, the speculation outside, even the spiritual people are talking about it. It seems that there might be a rerun, and if that is going to happen, Bola Tinubu is saying that could literally mean an anarchy in the country. He's not the one saying that himself, but his representatives are the ones saying that. Olanipekun presented that, during their closing hours. So let me take you quickly to, and like I said, this was on the 16th, so it's about almost 48 hours, but it seems to be the news that is still trending as we speak right now. So what do we know so far? Removing me as a president over the failure of scoring 25% in Abuja may trigger anarchy in Nigeria. Tinubu is warning the tribunal. The lawyers address a section of the Constitution that said a candidate must score 25% of vote in a 2/3 of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. But Bola Tinubu warned members of the Presidential Election Tribunal, whether this is a threat or this is just part of their presentation, that removing him as a president could lead to a breakdown of law and order in Nigeria. Mr. Tinubu already admitted his failure to score 25% of the vote cast in Nigerian capital Abuja, but said it was insufficient to overturn his victory as declared by Independent Electoral Commission as well. But it seems that the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is responding back fully. If there wasn't anarchy when you were forced, when you force yourself in, there won't be when the court removes you. The Labour Party replied, Bola Tinubu, the president. This is coming after Tinubu asked the Presidential Election Tribunal to strike out the petition filed by the Labour Party seeking to nullify his victory in the 2023 general election. But it seems that this coming after Tinubu requested for that. But it seems that Tinubu's legal counsel, Wole Olanipekun, in his final written address to the tribunal, claimed that the FCT was just the number 37 state of the electoral purposes, and that any other interruption will lead to absurdity, chaos, anarchy. So we can now categorically say that the anarchy that was being portrayed from those that are campaigners, especially those that are campaigner of the Yoruba nation and the Biafra, is no longer the issue anymore. It seems that the APC are bringing in the anarchy themselves should Nigeria go into the stage.
It's quite an interesting one, because I'm just sitting there just rehearsing what happened during Donald Trump's election, when he lost the election, and then he called on his supporters that they should invade the capital. Now, it seems to be the same template that is going on. Okay, now the president has not actually come out to go and stand on the stage to say that, but his spokesperson made that presentation at the courts. Okay, so the question is he inciting his people to get themselves ready to do something of the sort? Should the final outcome from the courts go against them? And again, isn't it constitutional? Constitution says that you need to win 25% of the vote from the federal capital. It is the constitution. Are we abiding by the constitution at all, Yomi?
Well, it seems that we are still abiding by the constitution, but what is happening is, like, it might be that for sake of those that believe that this election was not concluded, some believe that the election has been concluded. The president is already, putting things in place, and that means that we should just, accept the fate. But that doesn't go well, because there's still legal process. And that legal process is what is happening presently. Looking at Peter Obi and Atiku, what do they really want? They want, the court, the Election Petition Tribunal, to determine whether, and this is now going according to the Labour Party, will insist that no amount of threat from the APC on the judges in the tribunal can change the process and requirement. That the law has put in place, it must be followed, and it is the position of the Labour Party. Let me assure the APC and their leaders that if there were no adversity, chaos and anarchy when they forced their way into the power, Nigeria will still witness peace when they eventually evict from the power. Remember that before the election, there was a lot of tension. We had, the Afenifere saying that, there will be chaos after the election should Peter Obi not become, the president. The Onhaise said that will be the end of Nigeria. But when Tinubu was given the result, we haven't seen the chaos yet, but it seems that Tinubu is preparing the chaos should the things go the other way around. So we don't know whether it's just a threat that would not materialize, but we can only wait until the tribunal gives Nigerian the heads up to what is going to happen. And should that election remain valid, does that mean that the expectation that we were told before the election by the Labour Party and those campaigning in support of the Labour Party will then bring the anarchy as well? All this is still going to be speculation until the time when the election tribunal will give us their judgment.
And we have a rough time. Bishop Elechina was saying about the 25th. I think he was speculating there as well. Now, do we have a rough time of the receiving this final verdict from the tribunal?
Well, I don't have the exact timing of these, but what I can say is that it is not going to be much more longer than what we have been waiting for. I mean, these started just about a few weeks or thereabout, about 2 weeks after the election. We knew that the Election Petition Tribunal was going to kickstart, and that is currently going on. Whether the result of that petition comes out within the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks, what I say is that it doesn't matter how long it takes, the pigs will get to where you're taking it to. It might take some time, and in Yoruba we say it doesn't. The noise of the pig does not mean that it will not get to the final destination. So the final destination of the Election Tribunal will be known by the world, the EU, the European countries, and as many Nigerians, both home and outside, and that would determine the fate of Nigeria itself.
Well, listeners, interesting times. We keep our fingers and everything crossed, waiting to see. And as someone is saying that, well, if somebody say that, look, my people are being marginalized, we can see that their farms have been invaded, and then people say that, what, that is a threat, and then decide to pursue the person. And so one is saying that my people are being marginalized, they go to just arrest him from a country and just bring him and chuck him somewhere, and the court rule that release the person, and they say, you know what, we're not going to be doing that. What kind of law are we actually using? Is the constitution actually working in Nigeria? You want to pass your comment, feel free, post it on any of the platforms that we are broadcasting on, and I promise you one thing for sure, we gonna read that. Well, let's move on to MFL. MFL's lawyers are saying they're going to file a contempt charge against the DSS. Well, I know that Kano's lawyers have been fighting them. They still keep him there. So what has MFL's lawyers got that is special than what Nnamdi Kano's lawyers have? Yomi.
Well, MFL believes he hasn't committed any crime yet, even though we know that a lot of things have been said when it comes to the issue of Emefiele. Emefiele is the most popular man in Nigeria, and it seems that from what I read, from Omoyele Sowore says that APC leaders, governors, and others will all have to go down if the suspended Central Bank of Nigerian governor Emefiele is persecuted for his offense. So already it seems that if Emefiele case continue to not be dealt with in accordance with the law, it might also bring down some other big men and the big wings of Nigeria. But let's go back to the main headline. Emefiele lawyers have now filed contempt of charge against the DSS and the DG. The DSS does not respect the rule of law in Nigeria because if they do, most of those cases in their hands would not be the situation, especially when we talk about the case of Nnamdi Kanu versus the federal government after his kidnap and rendition back to Nigeria by the former president Muhammadu Buhari. And for the last years of 2 years of Nnamdi Kanu, it seems that the DSS refuses to allow not just the medical but also some of his respect to the human rights and the respect to the law of the land, because the court has already stated that Nnamdi Kanu, all charges against him have been trashed out. But as you can see there, Nnamdi Kanu already stated this some few years back. If Nigeria does not come to an end, it will bring all our life to an end. So it seems that Emefiele life now is literally hanging, in the hands of Nigerian DSS. So the group of human rights lawyers have commenced contempt proceeding against the Director General of the State Security Service, Yusuf Bichi. I'm expecting Tinubu to have removed him, but maybe Tinubu might do so or not, because we know that Tinubu, has removed most of the security chiefs from the NSA to the Chief of Defense Staff. But Yusuf Bichi, that have abused his office, especially with his son, that continue to abuse the power within the Federal Capital Territory over alleged disobedience to multiple judgments and orders of the court directing the release of the suspended Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele from the custody. But it seems that the DSS, like we say, do not respect the rule of law. Maybe by the time there's a change of power, maybe that would happen. But for now, Form 48, which is the notification of consequence of disobedience to a court order, and Form 49, which seeks to commit an alleged contempt to prison, were now filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja yesterday by the lawyer led by Maxwell Okpara and barrister Abdulaziz Tijani. And again, as we believers of faith in Nigeria pray the court to commit the DSS DG to prison until he plugs himself out of contempt. Well, like we always say, prayer is not going to solve the problem, but the human being have to do so. But in Nigeria and African countries, we put everything into the prayer.
Well, it is Starr Radio UK. We put everything in prayer, but here we are doing our work, and you can also do so as well. The question that some are asking is Emefiele's case witch hunting? Because why, if it's that clean, okay, and then didn't have anything to hide, and we know Buhari the way he was, and Buhari didn't even take him out and continue to allow him to sit on that particular the platform where he was the chief or the boss, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Virtually, if he rules that, the whole of Nigeria is ruined proper. But he allowed him to still do that. Why have they gone against him or gone after him and now putting all charges against him? Let's see, what do you think? Let us have your comments there. Starr Radio UK. Now, someone else who also is still have been thrown into prison and 33 days in custody is the EFCC chair. So it's like, is it witch hunting that is going on? Political witch hunting? What exactly is going on, Yomi?
Well, there will be more political witch hunt, because we saw that Adamu, the APC chairman, have decided to resign. And I was told his resignation is got to do with a push that Bola Tinubu still have some kind of pain that Adamu wanted to push, the former Senate president, to override him during the primaries of the APC presidential election. But let's come back to the former EFCC chairman that is currently still being held as well. It seems that it's not witch hunting, it's just that again is question to be made, and the law is playing its role. But it seems that some do not believe that that is the reason why these individuals are kept 33 days ongoing. And it seems that a young man, also that has kept many Nigerians, especially the youth, whether in accordance with the law or not, because we saw some Chinese expatriates that were paraded for mining in Ilorin, and I'm not sure why their faces were not shown to us. But when those that are committing crime, which we do not condone, most of their faces are shown as well. So that is the the former EFCC chairman that have now spent the last 33 days still finding out whether he will be charged or not. The suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, have now spent a month and 3 days in the custody again of the Department of the State Services. The secret police arrested Bawa on the 14th of July, on the 14th of June, hours after his suspension by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But the Director of Information of the Office to the Secretary of the Government Federation, Willie Bursey, in a statement announced that Bawa's suspension cited a weighty allegation of abuse of office leveled against him as the reason for the president's decision. Since his arrest, the DSS has kept mum on a specific offense for which Bawa was arrested. The level of investigation and whether charges will be filed against him is still going to be the court. But according to the DSS spokesperson, Peter Funaya, shortly after Bawa's suspension on June 14, said the embattled EFCC chairman is already in their custody in response to the invitation, but he has not been let go. And the question is the law really taking its place, or again are we abusing the system that has been in charge by the director of the DSS, Bichi himself? Well, I'm not sure whether they're going to arrest him by the time he's going to be suspended as well.
Because I'm just thinking, I said, some people will be waiting for him to be arrested as well and thrown into the DSS on custody, and we'll see what happens there. But listen, it's not coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, the president is not having a field day at all, because it looks like someone that he wanted to appoint into his cabinet is being opposed. Anger, anxiety, is enveloping Azorok as Tinubu insists on nominating bribery tainted Ganduje as cabinet minister. Now, if he managed to, they got Mefele out, they've got his FCC. What do they call him? This gentleman that we just spoke about, the Financial Crimes Commission as well. And that, so you ask yourself, why is he now appointing somebody that people are thinking this person is corrupt? Why is he doing so? You want to go to equity, you are going with a clean hand, then clear everybody that people are saying there might be something dodgy or fishy about them. Yomi, what is going on?
Well, we know that Ganduje allegation, because we've got to be very careful, allegation against him, stated that there's a video evidence out there, and that video evidence pointed that Ganduje was stocking some dollar in his Babariga as the former governor of Kano State, when a contractor was paying him off, and he wasn't aware that it's been recorded. The case is going on in Kano. But the information that we have right now Tinubu hasn't appointed anyone yet in terms of his minister, even though he's giving us 60 days that is going to happen. But already there's a lot of people that are not pleased that Tinubu would like to use Ganduje as one of his ministers. So the report coming out is that anger, anxiety, envelope Azorok as Tinubu continued to insist that this man has tried for me. He has been there when I was doing my campaign, and he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer man. So whether loyalty has to factor into someone that has been alleged for crime that still needs to be proved should not be included in his ministerial post. But as we do say, Nigeria itself is the most corrupt country in the world, the capital poverty of the world. And we know that all these politicians have something hidden. Maybe Tinubu wants to pay back Ganduje to cover a track. We do not know yet. But the question is, the president aide recognized the fragility of his mandate, and they said they were really disturbed by how badly appointing the ex-Kano governor could really come for Tinubu government himself, because that is going to bring a lot of the international community that are also following the situation in Nigeria, that Ganduje, whether yet or not, there is an allegation, and he must prove himself. Now that it's out of the governor, there is no impunity for him anymore. If it's clear, I'm sure Tinubu can appoint him, but I believe the reason why Tinubu might want to push him, that will safeguard Ganduje from any kind of court cases while he's a minister.
Interesting. Well, let's see what happens there. But we want to have your comment. Do you think that some are asking the question? Do you think that the tribunal should just stick to whatever is happening? You say, well, you know what? Yeah, maybe there were some anomalies, but now that we've had the president for how many, getting to 2 months, let's allow him to just get on with a good job that he started. And next time when we come to another election, we get on with it. Would you want that so that there will be peace in Nigeria? Or you think that no? If there is a wrong, let him be called out and let there be a rerun of the election, and let's see whatever happens there. Bishop Adesina says Ganduje allies Gandola. Okay, that is Allah. Well, I'm flying up a nice song for him. Where is the dollar? But doesn't go more. When we finish, we'll be playing that. But well, it's Starr Radio UK. Now, if it happens that we are traveling from here to Nigeria and we decide to go to land in the Lagos airport, apparently 2 months after a theft of runway lighting system at Lagos Airport was discovered, the facilities has at yet not been able to order anything, and they are using one patrol vehicle that is in poor shape to do that job. Yomi, would you feel safe traveling to Nigeria or landing? Is it in the Murtala Muhammed Airport? Yes, it's the Murtala Muhammed Airport in Lagos. Yomi.
Well, you probably won't even worry about that. Or you just want to worry about that as long as you're in Lagos, whether the plane touched down without electricity at the airport. Nigerians are used to such, we've seen aircraft finding it very difficult to land. And yet, it seems that the corruption continue to develop on a daily basis. I was listening to the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination movement yesterday, Professor Adebanji Akintoye. And someone during the program, he felt very sad that some of the events that will have transformed Nigeria, especially in the southwest, because the Lagos Murtala Mohammed Airport is in the southwest and is the backbone of Nigeria itself. He talked about the Okitikpupa, he talked about the rubber plantation, he talked about the cypress plantation, the Lafia canning factory, the Hotel Lafia Hotel, and all these were part of the the regional government of the time. But it seems that even though we are no longer in the regional government, money has been pumped into this airport. It's so dilapidated, it's not up to the standard. But yet, you wonder, even if someone was able to find their way into the airport, which is itself is a security breach, because the runway lighting, I mean, you're talking about something that is unique to the airport, was stolen out of the airport. That itself is a security breach. 2 months after the theft of the runway lighting, the only vehicle that can guide the aircraft is just one particular patrol that just tell the aircraft that just go through this way and follow this lightning. The question then is, how much is it going to cost to fix and repair the lightning itself? 2 months after the embarrassing theft of the runway lighting system at the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos was detected, the airport still relies on one patrol vehicle for the facility. According to the report gathered that despite being the only functioning patrol vehicle in the facility, that vehicle itself is not in a good shape. The report added that the air-fueled lighting system at the domestic runway 1836L of the Murtala Mohammed Airport were stolen, causing a national embarrassment.
Well, so if you decide to travel this morning or last night, land in Murtala Muhammed Airport, and you want to go to maybe Abuja to fly another plane or to another state, that's the problem that you're going to be having. But the thing is, it could be an emergency situation. It could be you. Let's say something happened, it's not working. Let's use this vehicle to do that job. Maybe a week or two, whilst we are getting a new order in. But up to now, how many people use that airport? Yomi, how many people? How busy is it?
It's a very busy airport where, from the local airport to the international airport, the traffic, remember that Lagos is still the hub of Nigeria. So, and that means that, if anyone is traveling, if you can't get to Abuja, direct from wherever you're coming from, then you end up in Lagos, and the traffic is still heavy, even though the price of traveling from Lagos to Abuja is becoming very expensive on a daily basis as well. Even is subject to, the fuel pump price as well, which as of today right now, marketers have now adjusted the pump fuel from now going to 617 naira per liter. But yet it seems that the maintenance of those airports, I did travel few times from the local airport, and like I said, you wonder why these are not functioning. It's about the corruption, it's about the lack of training, and it's about not really taking it as part of the system that is used to bring the revenue back into the country. So nobody cares as long as others are able to bypass the normal route. Most people that travel as well, especially those that are okay, will probably use the private jet or the helicopter to move from Lagos to Abuja. But most normal Nigerian passenger have to go through a lot of problems. And you cannot guarantee that if your airline tells you that you're moving from Lagos at 2 p.m., Mr. Archie, just think about it, that you might be moving on till about 7 p.m., if not 9 p.m. So it doesn't really guarantee that any timing on the aircraft ticket will guarantee that time. And most Nigerians have become just adapting to such, because as they've adapted to the corruption and the system, and this is where those that are campaigner of the right to self-determination are saying that the system have been dilapidated for too long, is creating lives. And as you read in that report that we're going to talk about, 100,000 naira was what 2 children in Ondo State decided to create what they call their own kidnapping, so that they can get 100,000 from their parents.
Well, they saw that their parents have got that they needed the money, and that was what they were going to do. But before I go to Yomi again, Bishop Adeshina says, I was watching Professor Banji Akintoye yesterday, speaking and shedding tears. An old man of 88 years doing that, virtually giving up. Now, reporting about rubber plantation agriculture investment all over Yoruba territory, it goes on further to say, for our economic and political posterity by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, now decapitated, and present governors are just selling it. Now it goes on further to say, selling those properties off to who? Maybe to themselves as well, Aziz, good morning to you. I say good morning to you, Mr. Archie and Mr. Koiki, the rest of the Starr team as well. And Bishop Adeshina says, when purpose is not understood, abuse is inevitable. How true. Thank you very much for your comments there. Listen, let's start ready. Okay.
Another report from Ibadan, from Comrade Plan B, saying that he can confirm that there is now fuel scarcity again in Ibadan. And when you look at Ibadan, you've been to Ibadan a few years back. It's the biggest city in Africa, but yet part of the lot of not investing in that refinery has allowed such of the dilapidated infrastructure across the country, including the airport that we've just been talking about. And when you look at this kind of image, this should have been a better image, but this is the best we can get from Ajaokuta today.
Wow, listeners, in the Bible there is this man known as Nehemiah. He heard about what is going on back in his country after he was in the foreign land, and he wept. I think we all have to be weeping for what is going on back home, because you want to work here, you want to at the point say I'm going home, and you want to have a peace of mind, but we don't seem to be seeing so. What do you think? It is Starr Radio. Okay, we'll go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making a round at 11:39. Over to you, Yomi.
Let's go to the southwest again of Nigeria, in Ondo State. Teenager sisters have now faked their kidnap, demanding 100,000 naira. Let's go into the story a little bit. The Ondo State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun Corps, has arrested no fewer than 28 people for alleged involvement in various crimes in some part of the state. Among the suspected criminals were 2 secondary school pupils. I mean, I would never have thought of these when I was in secondary school in 1991, which is some few years back now. But it seems that a situation that most of those that are in secondary school probably have had access to the new social media, wants to have the phones. I don't know what they need the money for, because I never thought of such, during my time in the secondary school in Abeokuta, southwest of Nigeria. But these two secondary school pupils were arrested for allegedly faking their own kidnap and demanding ransom from their mother. Maybe their mother has some money that has been given to him from Owolapo alone, or probably maybe somebody must have given, because I'm not sure whether, they must have known that the mother have that substantial amount of money, especially in the current problem that Nigerians are facing today. Paraded the suspect at the headquarters of the command in Akure, the state capital, Monday yesterday. The state commander, Adetunji Adeleye, said the two female pupils were 13 years old and the 15 years old that were both in GSS 1 and GSS 3 respectively. According to the command, the suspect hid somewhere at Akoko Southwest local government area of the state, called their mother, pretending to be kidnappers who adopted them and demanded 100,000. Adeleye added that they pretending to be kidnappers, the girls called and threatened the monarch of their town to pay the ransom within 24 hours or they will be killed and they adopted in their custody. He said the 28th among those two were paraded yesterday, shows that we have more kidnapping than any other criminal activities. Does this mean also that as many of the kidnapping taking place, even though we know that the Fulani terrorists are doing such, it seems already now that maybe some Yorubas are also involved in this such of atrocity? Because if anyone in that age bracket can think of it, definitely. And we've had evidence of those that have been kidnapped and returned back, say that it seems that there's an intelligence within the kidnappers. I'm talking about the real Fulani kidnappers within the community, because they keep passing messages back to the Fulani terrorists in the forest as well. Let's go straight to some of the other headlines at exactly 11:42, where we spend enough time as well. Politicians, it's not allowing me to sleep. As we know that Nigerian politicians are already, in their first stage, for those that are newer and those that are finishing their last tenure. Again, there was a breaking news from Ibadan. A woman was kidnapped in a broad daylight as well. The woman wanted to buy pepper, and it seemed that a stop where she was meant to come off, those in that vehicle refused to stop. She called her husband immediately, but as we speak right now, about 2 hours ago, we still don't know where this woman is. This is happening in a broad daylight today, and this happened just 2 hours ago from one of our correspondents in Ibadan this morning. Politicians are flooding government houses, are distracting me. According to the new governor, Akwa Ibom, State Governor Umar Eno, has urged politicians to allow him to concentrate on the job he was elected to do. The governor complained that he was being distracted by too many unexpected visits from politicians in the state. The governor was captured in the video on Facebook addressing in a gathering. I will not go to anybody's office without an appointment, the governor said. I find it amusing that people will just leave their home, just show up, and they will call you that they have not been allowed to pass through the government house or the gate. Well, I'm sure when you were contesting and moving around, you must have promised them something, and they're just there to collect their own share of cake, as Nigerians will always say. I'm going to take one more from the headline and then go back as well. 2,300 ghost worker is costing 220 million naira as salary. Guess where again? In Abia State. Governor Alex Otti. The governor Alex Otti says Abia has now saved 220 million naira on a monthly wages bill through the Abia government new introduced on-file payment system, saving them 220 million monthly. This is contained in a press statement yesterday by his chief press secretary Kazia Uko. He stated that development was part of the outcome of the outgoing verification of the civil servant and other public workers geared towards weeding out the ghost worker. We've had it continuously about ghost worker. It is happening because the few governors that come in employ more than what they are not allowed to, and it seems that some are probably even living outside the country and getting paid every month until a new government comes in and do a due diligence, roll call of some of those civil workers and realize that 2,300 ghost workers have now been removed. What a very good news. At least they are saving 220 million, and I hope another ghost is not going to steal the 220 million as well. I'm going to go straight to the social media and see what is trending this morning, but it seems that we are having, okay, let's see if we can bring that back. It seems that there's a lot of Ganduje is trending this morning, but the most important part that is trending this morning is the fuel in Nigeria. 78,000 tweets so far this morning from those that are asking, why is it a fuel scarcity again? And I believe it's got to do with the new pump price, which is going to about 661 naira per liter. Buhari is trending. I'm not sure why NSC is trending, but Buhari is trending. We know Buhari has left the government, but it seems that Buhari and El Rufai left the government. Kidnapping and bandit attacks along Abuja-Kaduna Highway reduced to almost zero. Neferati is also pointing again to Wale Soyinka threatening Nigeria with chaos and anarchy is the same as Buhari, blood of baboons. I hope the saga will find. We know that she is a real supporter of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. Let's take more. According to Sahara reporter, President Tinubu shouldn't inherit Buhari's impunity. Violation of the rule of law. Nnamdi Kanu demands unconditional release. I've listened to two different prophecies, that popped up on the social media, and they are giving by November that Nnamdi Kanu will get his freedom. I don't know how they're able to find out. Maybe God is speaking to them, as we believe Nigerians are too much godly people, and that literally means that two different prophecy is coming out to say that Nnamdi Kanu should get his freedom, if not in accordance with the law or the rule of law, but from the spiritual realm, as they will say. Simon Ekpa is still trending, and the reason for that again is because they will be locking down the southeast for the next 2 weeks. He has also directed that the Igbos in Lagos State should also be having a sit-at-home, but it seems that a lot of the Yorubas are not pleased, with such remark coming from Simon Ekpa, and that has led to Iba Gani Adams stating clearly that Simon Ekpa should take his sit-at-home to the southeast and leave the southwest alone. But in response, Simon Ekpa told Iba Gani Adams that he is not addressing the sit-at-home to the Yorubas, he's addressing that to the Igbos that are the traders in Lagos State, and their demand is releasing Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, and that sit-at-home that is costing the southeast billions of naira on the Monday. It seems that 2 weeks is just less than 2 weeks before this July 31st, when the sit-at-home 2 weeks is going to happen. Not 2 weeks in Lagos State, but we don't know when the Lagos State one is going to happen. But it seems a lot of Yorubas are thinking, why should there be a sit-at-home in Lagos? And some of others are asked again, if he's not directing it to us, let's remind the Yorubas that the Iyaloja Tinubu closed the Lagos market for no reason, and a lot of perishable goods got damaged, and nobody get compensation for that. And the reason for that was they should go and pick up their PVC and get to vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So Simon Ekpa is not addressing his sit-at-home to the Yorubas. His sit-at-home is directed to the Biafrans or the Igbos in Lagos State, so that they can get Nnamdi Kanu released unconditional. And Simon Ekpa say that is a civil disobedience, since that is the only way they can pass their message to the federal government. And there's nothing wrong in accordance to the international law when it comes to civil disobedience.
Well, I seem to agree with Simon Ekpa there. I mean, those of us here, if you want to support maybe Yoruba Nation or the IPOP or whatever, I mean, you might not, because if I decide not to go to work, or I want to go to number 10 Downing Street to go and demonstrate, I'm not demonstrating against the UK people. I'm demonstrating to make my cause heard. from where I'm coming from, where I am. So it shouldn't. Those in Lagos State shouldn't think that is what is happening. He's just directing it towards the Igbo, so that the people, the public, the president and his citizens will know that they are angry about what is happening there. But Comfort Olugunja says, "What a shame! Nigeria has become a business center for kidnappers. Quick business to make money. Dissolve Nigeria now. It's not working and will not work. Yoruba Nation now." She's got the answer right. He said that is the way forward, because whatever we are doing seems not to be working. But let's go back to Yomi for whatever he has, and then we can run up the conversation. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, we just continue to review, the security situation in Nigeria. Morakinyo at Morakinyo_Larry says, "Our future is not Nigeria." That is coming from there as well. Nigerian custom intercept 40 food containers of gun in Lagos, according to the report there. And also, I'm just speaking this from Jeremy Corbyn here. We know him very well. If lifting 250,000 children out of poverty isn't a priority, then what is it? And that goes again to Nigerian children. As I was stating yesterday, almost 15 million Nigerian children are literally out of school today. And we hope that Kalu Aja, that is now also saying that 49 days, the largest economy in Africa, has no central bank governor, no minister of finance or economy, no minister of petroleum or energy, no minister of budget planning or economic policy. And Kalu Aja is an author and also making money, the economy and personal finance easy to understand. And he's asking the question, why do we not have all these? He also went further to say that India considering banning rice export, Russia and Ukraine grain deal now off. Food security will be a key in 2023, especially in nations where their expenditure on food is significantly share of household spending. Like, guess what? He hasn't said Nigeria, but with the dialing code, you will know that is referring to Nigeria, and the dialing code to Nigeria is +234. It seems that the trailer, as they say, to just bring the final conclusion, between one of those that was supporting Dupe Onitiri-Abiola that we brought onto the program, known as Shoya Koribe, has also been revealing so much of reason why she has decided not to follow her anymore, because she believes that she has nothing to offer when it comes to Yoruba Nation. So the Yoruba people will always say, when the trailer goes through you, there will be a lot of revelation, and she's been giving so much revelation in the last 3 weeks that the trailer literally passed through the two of them.
Wow, that trailer then is made a big hole and we can see everything. My listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. That's the pleasure that we have whenever we come before or to present the program to you, because we love you to interact with us, and you've done so wonderfully today. Those of you on all the other platforms as well, we salute each and every one of you, and we say thank you. But Yomi, before you go,
well, stay tuned. As Archie take you through the rest of the program, I'll be back again. Same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock, where we're going to be looking into some of the more news headlines from Nigeria. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you very much, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's take a quick commercial break, and once we come back, we'll be looking at some of the other stories making the rounds. I come back and I open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions as well. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, announce the lines open: 0208-133-2257 or 58, 0208-133-2257 or 58. And those of you in the US or Canada is 001-718-303-2737, 001-718-303-2737. And if you want to text or WhatsApp us, you can WhatsApp call us as well. I'll be able to pick that as well. And it's 075-3966-1744, 075-3966-1744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio. You can email address is info@starradiouk.com. Shamsuddin, hey, how are you? Yes, we thank God Nigeria has not happened to you. He said, God bless Yoruba Nation, and God bless you, Shamsuddin. All right then. So let's take this quick commercial break, and I will be with you. Starr.
This is my testimony. messed up, bitter, hurt, and had no peace. Nothing was working for me. But then I attended the Lady to Lady Global Conference. My whole life just turned around. God changed my story, and yours can change too. I invite you to this year's conference, holding on Saturday the 22nd of July 2023 at Fairfield Halls, Croydon, United Kingdom. Doors open at 11 a.m. Register now for free at www.ladytoladyglobal.org. The theme for this year is peace. You heard me, peace. For more info, call 0203 983 9394. God bless you and see you there.
Well, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Wow, Ganduje, where is the dollar? Enjoy the tune and I'll be with you in a moment.
$10 and one man who gets. Hey, hey, hey. 10 men share $10 and one man who gets. It's a disgrace. Where is the dollar? 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 Give gorilla bananas to give to monkey. Hey, hey, hey. Give gorilla bananas to give to monkey. Yourself you know, you know go see banana, banana, you know go see banana. Monkey no go see banana, banana, you know go see banana.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 12 o'clock exactly, and it's the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Well, for your information, those of you The Lady to Lady conference is taking place in the UK once again. So on Thursday, exactly at 12:30, I'll be having the host herself, the organizer of that particular event. Yes. The one that God gave that dream to, Pastor Sandra. I'll be getting her on the show, and she's going to be telling you more about that particular program. So it's going to be on Thursday. Make a date, because people have got lots of testimonies pertaining to this. And I tell you for sure, that if you want to be part of that program, it's going to bless you a great deal. I don't know, but when she comes on, we'll be asking her whether there's going to be an online presence, so those of you who are not able to be in the UK at this time will also be able to benefit from that particular program. But remember, it is this Saturday, exactly. Yes, this Saturday, the 23rd. The 23rd of. Is it the 23rd? Am I right? Okay, yeah. Yes, no, it's going to be the 22nd. The 22nd of July. My apologies. The 23rd is a Sunday. All right then. So let's take a quick commercial break. We come back and then we'll continue from there. Is Starr ready? You okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
This is my testimony. I lost, messed up, bitter, hurt, and had no peace. Nothing was working for me. But then I attended the Lady to Lady Global Conference. My whole life just turned around. God changed my story, and yours can change too. I invite you to this year's conference, holding on Saturday the 22nd of July 2023 at Fairfield Halls, Croydon, United Kingdom. Doors open at 11 a.m. Register now for free at www.ladytoladyglobal.org. The theme for this year is peace. You heard me, peace. For more info, call 0203 983 9394. God bless you and see you there.
Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Go from employee to entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 5 minutes past the top of the hour at the time, and it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it.
You got it. All right then. Now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. Yes. When it comes to the African continent, what is going on? Other parts. Now, Chad junta leader pardons 110 people held over October protests. Now, a total of 436 people convicted of taking part in last October's protests have now been pardoned by Chadian authorities in less than 4 months. Are they going to be pardoning all of them? And would that bring about some peace there? So, I mean, at time you strike the olive branch, just do something good and let's see what happens there. Let's see what is going to happen. Then I'm going to bring you a detail of that. Authorities in Kenya have announced discovery of another 12 new bodies as well. It's making the rounds. And lawyer representing family of murdered MP Lodges. Yeah, we're going to be telling you more about it. EAC forces investigate alleged M23 massacre. In DRC. I'm going to be telling you more about that as well. You want to know more? Then stay tuned. Don't you go away. Egypt building collapse in Cairo and kills 8, including 7 members of one family. Now, the first story talks about a Chadian leader, General Mamat Idris Deby Itno, has pardoned 110 people. 10 more people sentenced to jail terms following deadly protests against the regime last October. The demonstrations against the extension of Derby's transitional rule broke out last October in the capital N'Djamena and several other towns. Derby was proclaimed head of state by the army in April 2021 after the death of his father Idris Deby Itno, who was killed during anti-rebel operations after ruling for 30 years. Now, persons tried and sentenced for act of unauthorized assembly, intentional assault and battery, arson and destruction of property following the events of October 20 benefit from a presidential pardon, read the decree signed by Derby. Now, more than 600 young men, including at least 80 minors, were arrested in N'Djamena on October 20 and in the following days, and then sent to prison in the desert town of Korotoro, more than 600 kilometers, that's 370 miles away. After months of detention, they were tried without legal representation. More than half were sentenced to prison terms, while others were given suspended sentence or release. Now, local and international rights groups claim that dozens of even hundreds of people were tortured or executed on the way to Korotoro, a claim denied by the authorities. Of course, they would deny that. Mohammed Al-Had Abanana, public prosecutor at the N'Djamena Court of Appeal, said that 110 people pardoned had been tried and sentenced to between 18 months and 5 years in prison in Korotoro, N'Djamena, and Mondo, the country's second largest city. A total of 436 people convicted of taking part, in last October's protests have now been pardoned by Chadian authorities in less than 4 months. At the end of March 259 demonstrators sentenced to prison terms were pardoned under a similar decree, followed by a second wave of 67 people in May. Well, if they will release them, or let them release them, or let them go back to their families to do whatever they want to do. Well, it's all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, in Kenya as well, authorities in Kenya have announced on Monday the discovery of 12 new bodies in Shakuola Forest, where an evangelical sect practicing extreme fasting was meeting. The new discovery brings the death toll to 403, almost 3 months after the first victim of what been dubbed as Shakuola Forest massacre were discovered. People believe that most of the exhumed bodies are those of followers of the Good News International Church, founded by self-proclaimed pastor Paul Nthenge Mackenzie, who advocated fasting to death in order to meet Jesus. Interesting. The former taxi driver has been in custody since April 14 and will face charges including terrorism. 16 other people are accused of being part of a group of henchmen responsible for ensuring that no follower broke the fast or escaped from the forest near the coastal town of Malindi. Abduction, abuse, torture. Which charges do they want me to label against them? Well. The lawyer representing the family of former MP and opposition politician Cherubin Okende lodged a complaint against unknown persons with the Public Prosecutor Office in Kinshasa. The former government minister and opposition politician was found murdered last Thursday in DRC capital. Mr. Cherubin Okende was murdered in unimaginable circumstances, and the family, after consultation with the widow, children, fathers of the deceased, and his brothers and his sister or sisters, have today decided to take the case of the Congolese court so that light can be shed on the heinous murder of the honorable member of parliament Cherubin Okende, said Lauren Oyemba, lawyer of the family of the murdered MP. Now, 61-year-old Cherubin Okende resigned from his post as Minister of Transport last December. He was also an executive of the Ensemble pour la République, the party of presidential candidate Moise Katumbi. Now, what matters to us is not a botched trial. What matters to us here is not judicial posturing to stir up or disorientate opinion in one direction or another. So, as lawyers, we are going to take part in this activity to see that light is shed, reassured the lawyer. The presidential election in DRC is scheduled for December 20th. Now, together with the election for national and provincial and local councillors, President Felix Tshisekedi, who has been president since January 2019, is standing for re-election. It is all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick commercial break and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. This afternoon, exactly at 1:30, we're going to be having BB Clement coming your way with BB Means Business. So make a date with her. Make a date with her. It is Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Well, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactly 13 minutes past the top of the hour. It is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. And as they say, join BB Clement. Today she's looking at kingdom finance. Okay? Some people think that because you are a person of faith, you don't have to be rich. Some are of the view that, as the Bible said, or Jesus said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So they think that, wow, you have to be poor. If not, you won't go to heaven. Well, money makes the world go round. Money answereth all things. Well, what about that? Well. You want to know more? Make sure that your dials are logged on at 1:30 with BB Clement on BB Means Business. All right then. So now let's move on. Let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. All right. So straight on to Ghana as well, touching on one other story, and then we'll move on straight from there to have a real look at other stories there. Now, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says allegations by the minority in Parliament that land guards are employed to protect state lands are false. The minority in Parliament has questioned the commitment of government and security agencies in fighting activities of land guards in the country. The Chief Director for the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources, Professor Patrick Agbesinyale, said during a meeting with the Lands and Forestry Committee in Parliament, he said his ministry, the police and military, engage land guards to reclaim and protect their lands at a fee. In a statement, however, the ministry said they only illegally engaged the services of Enoch Holding Limited, a registered limited liability company, to assist in reclaiming encroached government lands. How come? Don't they have the military? Don't they have the various security agencies? Why did they go to some private entities to do so? Somebody said that they are patronizing the security companies, private security companies in the country. So what do you think about all that? So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. True democracy, a fair trial, not a kangaroo court, James Kwesi is saying here. Now, embattled member of parliament for Asin North constituency, James Kwesi, has described his criminal prosecution by the state as one of that lacks fairness in a democratic governance. Now, rather, he said a true democracy should have transparent system that comes with fair trial and not a kangaroo court, as his case has been. The legislator is currently facing 5 criminal charges, including perjury, forgery, and had earlier pleaded not guilty while the trial continues. Addressing some party faithfuls on Friday, 14 July, at a law court complex in Accra, after his lawyers had asked the High Court to hold the trial pending determination of certiorari and a prohibition application filed at the Supreme Court, James Kwesi said his fight is a fight for justice. Now, in a quote, he said, I just want to take a moment here to thank all of you for coming out of your busy schedules, devoting your time to support me. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the party, NDC, and also to all Ghanaians. Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So will that case continue to go on? To what end? That's the question I do ask all the time. To what end? Okay. Now one other story and then we leave Ghana. Now last week we did bring to you the leaked audio tapes plotting to overthrow the IGP, or to sack the IGP from his position, Dr. Dampare. Now, the Deputy Minority Leader in Parliament, Amakofi Boa, has said the linked audio plotting the removal of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, pose danger to election 2024. In a statement invoking the appropriate standing orders of the House for the Speaker of Parliament to set up a parliamentary inquiry on the leaked audio, the Deputy Minority Leader gave a summary of content in the audio. He said, Mr. Speaker, the content of this audio recording portend grave danger for the upcoming 2024 general election if not thoroughly investigated and dealt with to ascertain its authenticity or otherwise. The unnamed Commissioner of Police on the tape, contrary to the Professional Code of Ethics of the Ghana Police Service to maintain service with integrity, rather contemplates doing everything humanly possible to help the government and the New Patriotic Party win the election, saying there is mafia work in every election to which elections are not won fairly. In his view, the current IGP will not help the New Patriotic Party, the party that appointed him to carry out such a mafia work, or mafia works, as was demonstrated by his fair conduct in the recent Asin North by-election, and hence he must be changed, Mr. Kofi Boa stated. He continued, it is instructive and equally troubling, Mr. Speaker, that senior officers of the Ghana Police Service who are seized with the very sensitive matters of election security management and are expected to demonstrate neutrality, fairness, and utmost professionalism in matters of election security will rather conspire to favor the cause of the New Patriotic Party to retain power in 2024. Mr. Kofi Boa stated that as Parliament, their concern must be situated within the context of the 31st January 2019 Ayawaso West war gone by election violence and other acts of violence. The lawmaker also mentioned incidents that were recorded at Techiman South and other parts of the country during the 2020 general election, in which 8 Ghanaian citizens lost their lives as well. Mr. Speaker, this audio recording equally unveils serious national security concerns that must be investigated by this august House of Parliament. Several pronouncements by the said officer reveal the presence of partisan elements within the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service, whose loyalty is solely to the New Patriotic Party and its leadership and not the Republic of Ghana. The said officer, whose voice is captured on tape, regrettably identifies as a regime police officer and boldly declares his loyalty and that of other senior police officers to the New Patriotic Party. Even it professes their determination to help the party hold on to power beyond 2024 against the sovereign will of the Ghanaian people if they decide to vote against the ruling party. But what do you think about all that? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Let's move on straight to other parts of the world because we are already pressed with time. In other parts of the world, now we talk about temperatures that are soaring. The temperatures are expected to peak at 46 degrees at Europe. Europe heat wave continues. A heat wave is continuing across the southern Europe, with temperatures in the central Mediterranean expected to peak today. The Italian island of Sardinia is expected to see a high of 46 degrees, that is 114.8 degrees Fahrenheit this afternoon. Now there are warnings extreme heat could continue for a further 10 days in parts of Italy. Spain has also faced consecutive heat waves with temperatures yesterday reaching 44 degrees, that is 111.2 Fahrenheit in the south of the country. There have been wildfires on the Spanish island of La Palma and in mainland Greece as well. Meanwhile, in the US at midnight last night, the temperatures at a weather station in Death Valley, California was still 49 degrees. The World Meteorological Society says extreme weather patterns highlight the need for more climate action. And what action are we talking about here? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 8 minutes to the end of the program. That is 12:22. Now let's look at some other stories making the rounds this morning. A U.S. national has been held by North Korea after crossing the border. That's what the UN is saying. As a U.S. national has been detained in North Korea after crossing the border, UN body says the United Nations Command, which operates the demilitarized zone and joint security area, said the man did not have authorization. We believe he is currently in DPRK custody and are working with our KPA counterparts to resolve this incident, is said. Now, information coming to us via the BBC said the U.S. Department of State for comment, the demilitarized zone, the DMZ, separates the two Koreas, and its border is one of the most heavily fortified areas in the world. It is filled with landmines, surrounded by electric and barbed wire fencing and surveillance cameras, and guards, and supposed to be on alert, who are supposed to be on alert 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, dozens of people escape from North Korea every year, but defection across the DMZ are extremely dangerous and rare. Before the pandemic, more than 1,000 people fled from the North Korea to China every year, according to numbers released by South Korean government. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to some of the stories making the rounds on the in the US as well, millions of US military emails have been mistakenly sent to Mali, a Russian ally, because of a minor typing error. Now, emails intended for the US military .mil domain have for years been sent to the West African country, which ends with the ML suffix. Now, some of the emails reportedly contain sensitive information such as passwords, medical records, and itineraries of top officers. The Pentagon said it had taking steps to address the issue. Now, according to Financial Times, which first reported the story, that internet entrepreneur John Zuber identified the problem more than 10 years ago. Now, since 2013, he has had a contract to manage Mali's country's domain, and in recent months has reportedly collected tens of thousands of misdirected emails. Now, none were marked as classified, but according to the newspaper, they included medical data, maps of U.S. military facilities, financial records, and the planning documents for official trip, as well as some diplomatic messages. Mr. Zuber wrote a letter to U.S. officials this month to raise the alarm. He said that his contract with the Mali government was due to finish soon, meaning the risk is real and could be exploited by adversaries of the U.S. Mali military government was due to take control of the domain on Monday. Mrs. Zuber has been approached for comments. Now, what have they done? It is Starr Radio, okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Before we run up the program, we will. Okay, just bear with me. I will be bringing you more on that front as well before we run up the program. And also, those of you on the YouTube as well. This afternoon, yes, as I did announce, we're going to be having BB Clement on BB Means Business, and she is going to be looking at another wonderful program there, and this time around pertaining to kingdom and finance there. Kingdom and finance. Some people believe that if you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, or you are a person of faith, you have to be poor, and that shows your resilience, or that shows that you are actually doing something for God, or preparing yourself to actually inherit the kingdom of God. But what do you think about all that? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 3 minutes to the end of the program, and I'll call that 12:27. So let me bring you this one, and then we bring the program to a close. And as I said, BB Clement is going to be coming your way. We'll prepare the grounds for her. Now, after so much wrangling and arguments, the government plans for dealing with people crossing the channel in small boats was signed off by Parliament. The illegal migration bill will become law, but hang on, it is a big but. The counterpiece of the plan, sending migrants to Rwanda, can't happen, at least yet, as it has been challenging the court. The Supreme Court will take decision in autumn. Now, so what is happening? What happened last night? The government won a final series of votes in the House of Lords, removing the last obstacle to the plan becoming a law. Opposition in the Lords for so long so vociferous dissolved away sufficiently for the government to get its way. Now, some peers concluded that they had made their points as far as the opposition was concerned, and as unelected parliamentarians, they would push their points further. And for a chamber not known for its abundance of youth, half midnight is mighty late. Plus, I'm told some conservative peers, not seen around the place very often, they turn up to back the government. Well, it's quite an interesting one. But this will come your way from Starr Radio UK. And this is where I bring the program to a close for today. Tomorrow morning, yes, there's going to be that wonderful program. Yes, the Power Hour with Reverend Michael Esiama. That is from 5:30 to 6:30. And then the morning show will commence from 10 o'clock. But it will be preceded by the BBC News coming your way from our apps. And then we'll move on from there. It's exactly at 10:30 live show will start from the studios here as well. But remember, tomorrow is going to be Wednesday edition, and therefore PMQ will also be taking place there. But whatever you are and wherever you are, once again, let me say thank you very much so much for joining us today. But before we go, let's take this commercial break. The Ladies to Ladies conference is going to be taking place this Saturday. That is the 22nd of July, 11 a.m. at the Fairfields Halls in Croydon. But hear from them themselves and let's run up the program.
This is my testimony. I was lost, messed up, bitter, hurt, and had no peace. Nothing was working for me. But then I attended the Lady to Lady Global Conference. My whole life just turned around. God changed my story, and yours can change too. I invite you to this year's conference, holding on Saturday the 22nd of July 2023 at Fairfield Halls, Croydon, United Kingdom. Doors open at 11 a.m. Register now for free at www.ladytoladyglobal.org. The theme for this year is peace. You heard me, peace. For more info, call 0203 983 9394. God bless you and see you there.
Woman of God did not even know I was expecting, and I used to have this spotting that used to come on a particular day at a particular time, and I remember her doing an altar call, and she too was expecting at that time. And I tell you what, my beautiful women of God, that is when my spotting ceased after the Lady to Lady conference, and I had a bouncing baby boy. So I'm here imploring you to come to Lady on the 22nd of July from 11 a.m. You don't want to miss this. This is a game-changing session, and I know that he that has begun a good work in your life, my life, is able to perfect it. So come in your masses, women of God. There is nothing that is impossible with the Father.
Okay, yes, so lots more going to be coming your way from there. We want to know more, as I did say, this Thursday exactly at 12:30 I'll be having the organizer, the brain behind this Ladies to Ladies conference coming your way. Pastor Sandra will be joining me. Let me throw you more light. Maybe the men can go there as well. No, it's Ladies to Ladies. Well. You want to know more? Make sure that your dials are logged on and come Thursday exactly at 12:30. I'll be hosting Pastor Sandra. But this is where I bring the first part, the program to a close. And as I did say, this afternoon exactly at 1:30, BB Clement is going to be coming your way with BB Means Business, and today she's going to be looking at kingdom and finance. Do we have to be poor because we belong to the kingdom? Are some things that were blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Is that it? But well, the Bible also gives us the power, saying that we have to say control, being in control, taking territories, and that's what we're going to be doing. But you want to know more, stay tuned, and at 1:30 exactly BB Clement will be coming your way. But now let me bring you this song from Ejewa, and it says crazy times. Of course these are crazy times, but you know what, Starr Radio UK will make it all good and better for you. Enjoy it. When that song ends and you don't hear from me, it's been me, Archie, saying bye bye for now. God bless you.
Now just get up and go. Tougher situations down me, it's looking like we fit an all-time low. But there's plenty time to go. See, these are crazy times, I know. But hold on with me, just stay. We don't have to let up, no.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Come out, we will be alright, alright, alright. We will be alright. Odds have been against you.
for listening. Thanks